If I look and sound weird, it's because I'm sick. Now, this is supposed to be a late night rant, but it's done at 4:30 in the afternoon because I'm sick. You'll get the same amount of rambling as you would if it was at 3:30 at night. Excuse me. So, today I wanted to talk about a subject that is kind of controversial, but I implore you to put all your inhibitions away, put all of what anyone else has told you in the back of your, just to remove it from your mind for a second. Listen to the points I'm going to make, and then make your final decision, because I believe that a lot of personal opinion on this is based upon societal, or what society sees, and what other people tell you. So I just want you to think for a minute. Just put all that aside and just listen to what I have to say. And if you decide that you agree with me, that's fine. If you decide you disagree with me, that's fine as well. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I want to talk about Clop today because more about the reason why it's still looked down upon. Well, my personal opinion on why the reason it's still looked down upon. Rule 34 exists for a reason. Anything in the world can be sexualized. Anything that has ever existed has been sexualized in some way. And that is the truth. You can look at almost any children's show and you'll find it sexualized in some way. The reason why MLP gets such a bad rap is because of the fan base, the huge fan base it's made with the older guy generation. Now, guys between the age of 18 and 30, I believe, is what the average brony is. So you get that group of people who society sees as more, sexually deviated or sexually hungry or whatever it is than the norm, rather than the normal group of society. They see them as more interested in that sort of thing than the rest of society is. But the only thing is that I have lots of all my guy friends between 18 and 30. Yeah, we talk about stuff like that, but that's because we really don't care. Society sees sex and pornography and all that stuff as a huge taboo. Like, you can't talk about it at all. And the problem with that is that that's why we get kids today, 13 years old, being pregnant and stuff like that, because parents won't have to talk with their kids because it's too embarrassing, or they don't know how to do it, or they don't know how to bring it up in conversation. See, my dad, this is just a quick story, I'm not going to get into details, but my dad took me out on a canoe when we had to talk, so I could not escape, and he just told me everything, and I was like, okay, I got it. But the parents today won't do that because they're afraid. Parents today don't want to talk to their kids about stuff like that, about sex or violence or anything like that, because they think that if they don't mention it, it'll just go away and they'll never have to deal with it. If they're not exposed to it, it'll never happen. But unfortunately, there are kids who do have the talk, and they are exposed to it, and then they meet those kids, and the kids who are underdeveloped, we'll say, don't know how to deal with that sort of thing. That's why you get, like I said, 13-year-olds who are pregnant. You get 14-year-olds who are junkies. You get all these, 13-year-old kids who are addicted to alcohol and drugs and cigarettes because their parents never sat them down and said, this is the way that you're supposed to deal with it. This is the way you're supposed to, handle this sort of thing. So, back on topic, with all that happening, one of the reasons why Clop is so looked down upon is because it is pornography in a sense. Any type of pornography is not supposed to be talked about in a public setting, or any kind of setting for that matter. It's looked upon as bad, or some people see it as evil. I personally don't see it as evil. It's just something that exists, like violence and a whole bunch of other stuff. Sorry, I just set up a TV in my room and it's going. Now, another reason is because, like I said, the fan base, 18 to 30 guys, is told they're more sexually explicit about this sort of thing, but that's because they're not really afraid to talk about that. They're one of the only sects in society I find will openly just discuss it, just in the middle of a mall food court or whatever. And even though the discussion sometimes is less than intelligent, I boned that chick yesterday and all that stuff, I mean, it's still discussion. And it's still discussion that they see in public. So that's why people see that sect of society as, deviated and evil and sex hungry. That's just the way it is. Another reason is because, the target audience originally was for younger children, and because the community of older guys is so large as compared to shows like, I don't know, what's a little girl show, Barbie or something like that. People lock on to that because it's such a because it's such a big thing to take down. Like if you tried to take down whatever Barbie Rule 34, there wouldn't be as many people trying to defend it probably as MLP, because MLP has a huge fan base in the older people who actually argue back and who are actually interested in that sort of thing. And another reason is because just because the fact it's a Brony thing. It's something that deviates from societal norms. It's something that society, people who will defend society to the end, will defend the norms, who won't question anything, who will constantly, say, this is what the average person thinks. Well, okay, I'm going to go with them because they are the average, they are the most, they are, they are not fringe, they're not crazy. So these kind of people will hate on people who go away from the average. Now, the thing is, we have that in the community as well. We have people who like MLP but hate Cloppers, and the truth is that they are still influenced by that societal norm. Like, I can understand this. There are some people who actually have a grief against clopping. It might be like it has to be an intellectual reason, because there are some people who are just like, oh, it ruins the fandom. It's like, no, it doesn't. Does Rule 34 of anything ruin the fandom? It gives us a bad name. No, it doesn't, because there's only certain people who do it. Now, I understand that people will look upon the entire Brony community as such, but they would do that anyways, no matter what. It's not because there's Rule 34. It's because the potential for Rule 34 exists. It's because there's no real way to prove otherwise. You can't get the entire fandom together and say we don't like this, and people will believe them, because people will hate just to hate. People will find reasons to hate, even if you got rid of all trace of MLP Rule 34. People will still say there used to be. If it never existed, people will say there could be. People will make lie. People will not really lie. People will tell stories about bronies. If you saw My Little Brony by College Humor, that's what people see. It's just, and that's the way society sees it. And because society sees it like that, there's no real way you can dissuade them from it, because it's the average school of thought. The My Little Brony thing was so painfully societal explicit. Like, it just basically took everything society has ever said about bronies and put it into a video. It was so painful that it was sad in such a way. It was funny, but it was sad, because we all know that not every brony is like that, but some people do think that. I see comments all the time that say bronies are the worst kind of people in the world. And unfortunately, that's what a good sect of society sees. I'm not going to say most, but a good chunk of them do. Those who don't think for themselves and just follow the fact that guys have to be guys and girls have to be girls. There's no in between. There's no chance for a guy to like feminine, well, not even feminine, stuff that was originally intended for little girls, but has moved to become something for guys as well. But the strange thing is, that's for another video. I'll talk about male and female roles later. But I think that's about it. I'm sorry if that didn't make very much sense. My sickness is kind of screwing with my head right now, and I kind of think I need to lie down a bit. But thanks for listening. I'm sorry if this offended you in some way, but I did put that disclaimer at the beginning, so you really have no one to blame but yourself. And if this opened your eyes to something, and if you made you think of something a little different, great. If it at least made you think, I'm happy. Even if you still completely 100% disagree with me, as long as it made you think. As long as it made you think, that might be a good point, but I still disagree, I'm happy. And if you have a logical reason why it's wrong, something that's not spewed from every single mouth, I would love to hear it personally, because my opinions are always open to change as well. So thank you very much for listening. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys later.